Hello and welcome back. My name is Jack B, and as always, thank you for viewing my video. In early February 2026, the FBI raided a home in Las Vegas tied to the same operator, Jia Beiju, that was connected to the 2023 Reedley illegal biolab case. This indicates the illegal, unlicensed biolab network is much broader than just the California location, the journey from Tulare to Fresno to Reedley to Las Vegas. The House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party indicated that the illegal biolab in Reedley had connections to PRC state-controlled companies and received unexplained payments from Chinese banks. The Reedley illegal lab was discovered to contain dangerous pathogens and were operating without proper permits or biosafety protocols. Jia Beiju, a Chinese national and Canadian fugitive, was indicted in the U.S. in 2023 for operating an illegal biolab in Reedley. Jia Beiju seems to be the spearhead creating and growing the illegal CCP Biolabs here in the U.S. Zhu changed his name in China to Chang He. In court filings, the government said Zhu moved from China to Canada in 1988. He lived in Canada until 2014. Zhu had Canadian citizenship, a driver's license with a Vancouver, British Columbia address, and a Canadian passport. Zhu is a wanted fugitive from Canada. He fled Canada to the U.S. in 2014, evading a $330 million civil judgment related to intellectual property theft. After fleeing Canada, Zhu used various aliases, including Jesse Zhu, Chang He, and David He, to operate unlicensed companies in California, including Universal Meditech Inc. in Zurich, UMI, and Prestige Biotech Inc. in Zurich, PBI. Zhu used various aliases in an effort to evade U.S. authorities, according to federal prosecutors. Zhu set up businesses in the United States, funded by one of his companies from China, Ida Diagnostics, listed as a medical device distribution company, the government said. The company supplied $850,000 in funding for Zhu's Las Vegas-based company, David Destiny Discovery, LLC, 3D, to purchase property. Court documents indicated he was living in the United States and manufacturing illegal test kits for many years. They also revealed Zhu filed a name change application in August 2021 in Los Angeles County Superior Court, wishing to be known as David He. The government alleges that Zhu used the name David He to obtain a Social Security card, employment authorization, and California ID card. This broader illegal biolab network here in the U.S. has probable connections to the CCP. The second suspect in Las Vegas that Metro Police named and arrested is 55-year-old Ori Solomon, the property manager of the house. Investigators say the Las Vegas illegal biolab was primarily located inside a locked garage within the house. More than 1,000 samples were collected and taken to the Southern Nevada Health District Laboratory. The initial search of the residence on Sugar Springs identified a biosafety hood, a biosafety sticker, a centrifuge, multiple refrigerators, red-brown unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers, and refrigerated vials with unknown liquids, said Christopher Delzato, FBI special agent in charge. On Monday morning, all samples were loaded onto an FBI aircraft, where they will be transported to the National Bioforensic Analysis Center in Maryland for testing. The trail to the Las Vegas illegal biolab really goes back to 2015. A worker for the biolab in Tulare told the Fresno Bee that she was a lab tech for Universal Meditech Inc. at its location on 2375 E. Tulare Avenue from 2015 until 2018. There were chemicals that the co-workers handled but were never told what they were. They were only told that they had to use a special fluid perfectly made for the test strips. The illegal biolab was discovered accidentally by a city code enforcement officer who responded to an anonymous tip about an unlicensed business operating in an old cold storage warehouse. That led to the discovery of dozens of freezers and refrigerators full of vials of blood, serum, and tissue samples. There were cartons and containers of various chemicals, stored medical lab equipment, and hundreds of lab mice that were in such distress and neglect that they ultimately had to be euthanized. Universal Meditech operated in Tulare from 2015 until 2018, and then in Fresno from late 2018 until late 2022 when it moved operations to Reedley. There, the company moved into a leased warehouse but failed to get a city business license and obtain permits for electrical wiring and other building modifications. They didn't obtain any necessary permits from Fresno County for handling and disposing of medical or hazardous waste. A fire in August 2020 led to the discovery of unpermitted lab walls and unapproved electrical wiring in the Fresno facility. Within days of the fire, an environmental health inspector with the Fresno County Department of Public Health inspected the building along with Fresno City Fire and Code enforcement officials. and they determined that the lab did not have a required hazardous materials business plan or county permit for storage of hazardous chemicals, said Joe Prado, the county health department's assistant director. Nicole Ziba, Reedley's city manager, told Fresno County supervisors that the company slipped into town and set up storage of its laboratory materials without getting a business license. The Reedley Biolab facility housed numerous hazardous materials and infectious agents. They found pathogens and infectious agents in thousands of vials. Some were unlabeled, and some were coded, which included TB, HIV, malaria, COVID-19, chlamydia, E-coli, human herpes, dengue, rubella, hepatitis B and C, in addition to high-risk pathogens, including a freezer labeled E-Bola. They also found biological materials, nearly 1,000 transgenic mice, genetically engineered to mimic the human immune system. Lab workers reported that these mice were intended to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus. Samples of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids were stored in various containers, including Gatorade bottles. Chemical and other hazards were present. Highly flammable, explosive, and corrosive chemicals, such as nitric acid, phosphoric acid, and sodium hydroxide, were improperly stored. Trace amounts of narcotics were found in bags labeled MDMA, coca, methamphetamine, and amphetamine. Jury-rigged electrical wiring created a significant fire and explosion hazard. In summary, it appears that the discovery of the illegal biolabs was by happenstance in at least two of the locations, once by a city code enforcement officer who responded to an anonymous tip, and then after a fire investigation at another. It's not clear to me how the Las Vegas biolab was discovered, but perhaps they found it by the FBI investigating David Herr. We have a plethora of hidden villainous activities taking place in America that pose extreme danger to the American people. David Herr is a known criminal fleeing from Canada in 2014. He seemed to remain free to do whatever he wished, changing names, getting SS cards, and state IDs. He was hiding in plain sight. Our government leaders and elected officials should have a strategy to be proactive to identify these types of dangers and the purveyors of evil rather than reacting to them after it is too late. In addition, it's possible that Americans are too naive and trusting. These are traits that odious people use against us. We are easy targets. Somehow the American people ought to wake up, shed their auto-guilt system, and stop wasting time and money on nonsense. There are more important activities to address to safeguard the American people. Well, these are my thoughts for today. And again, whether you agree or disagree, please verify the information presented. Thank you. And until next time, take care and be safe.
Ah. No, Kevin. Me na do it.
Ooh.